Hello cats! Welcome back to another episode of Chat About That. I'm your host Bella, and in this episode I'm going to be chatting all about Taylor Swift re-recording her albums, the upcoming re-release of Fearless, and some of my favorite Taylor Swift memories. Before I chat about Taylor Swift, I wanted to tell you guys about an upcoming episode that I'm super excited about recording. It's going to be all about WandaVision. I am absolutely obsessed with this show. It's on Disney+. It is the Marvel TV series all about Wanda Maximoff and Vision. And if you don't know anything about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you probably won't care about that episode or care about WandaVision at all. But it is the first Marvel TV series that's like live action. And it's, well, I guess Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually the first live action Marvel show, but this is the first live action show that has to do with characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's a pretty big deal. There's an upcoming Falcon and the Winter Soldier show that's all going to be all about Sam and Bucky. And then there's an upcoming Loki TV series, which I'm super excited about because that's actually why I ended up getting Disney Plus in the first place, was because of the Loki show. But there's been so many amazing things on Disney Plus that I'm very excited about having it in general. But I definitely want to do an upcoming episode all about WandaVision, and I've been waiting to talk about it because the series isn't over yet, and I don't really want to do, one episode just talking about like the first episode and things like that. I want to do a whole comprehensive episode. So that's going to be coming soon, and I'm very excited. I think there's only like 3 more episodes, so I'll either post that sometime late next month or early April. So be on the lookout for that episode. I'm very excited. And also wanted to let you guys know that I do have an email address. It's just chataboutthatpodcast@gmail.com. And if you're interested in sharing any topic ideas or know of anything cool that I should chat about, please let me know. Please email me. I'll leave my email address again in the description of this episode, so you can email me. And you can also message me on any of my social media channels. I have YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter that you can contact me on. So I just wanted to let you know that I am open to new topic ideas, especially because I have this video element. There's a lot more that I can do. I'm thinking of doing some reviews or maybe some trailer reactions or things like that. So I really want to have some more ideas to go off of, because I do have so many ideas and I have a lot of things already planned, but I want to hear from my audience and see what you guys are interested in learning about it as well. So I just wanted to give those 2 little quick updates before I get into talking about Taylor Swift. So I'm talking about Taylor Swift because she announced on February 11th that the re-recorded version of Love Story was going to be out at midnight. So on February 12th, she released the updated version of Love Story. So if you don't follow anything with Taylor Swift, you might be thinking, why is she re-releasing Love Story? That makes no sense. So basically, you have to go all the way back to 2019. So in 2019, Taylor released Lover, which was her 6th studio album. And this was the first album that she technically owns. And to understand that, you have to, there are a little bit more of a backstory as well. So in 2019, Lover was released, and it was the first album that she's owning. And it's basically because from her debut album all the way up to Reputation, those were all albums underneath Big Machine Records. And Big Machine Records was started by Scott Borchetta, and she was actually the first person that he signed. So she was the first person on this record company. And you might be thinking, if she had such a good career with this record company, why did she leave it? Well, it's actually because she didn't own any of her albums. She didn't really own any of her songs, and she didn't have as much creative freedom as she wanted to. So after Reputation, she decided to leave Big Machine Records, and she went to a new record label, and now she has so much more freedom and is able to literally own all of her art. So after her album Lover was released, Scott Borchetta sold Big Machine Records to Scooter Braun, who we do not like. And Scooter Braun also manages Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande and Demi Lovato and a bunch of other artists. And he purchased Big Machine Records, and with that transaction, he basically owns all of Taylor Swift's music. Now, since that's happened, Taylor Swift's masters, which is basically all of her songs, her albums, that's what the masters means. All of her masters have been purchased by somebody else. And so Scooter Braun now like technically doesn't own them, but her music does not belong to her. And through these, I guess, transactions, you'll say, all of the contracts basically prohibit Taylor from purchasing them or, you know, being allowed to like work with these people. So basically all of the albums before Lover, she doesn't own, she doesn't have the rights to, which is like absolutely ridiculous because if you know Taylor Swift, you know that she writes all of her songs. I mean, yes, she does co-write songs, but she always has a hand in writing her songs. And, you know, she is the face of her own brand. I mean, she's Taylor Swift, but you know what I mean? Like she doesn't like seek out other people to write her music. Like she writes her music and she co-writes with people, but she owns everything, but she doesn't own it. So when Lover was released, right around that time, again, Scooter Braun bought her masters, and so she announced that in November of 2020, she was allowed to start re-recording her albums. So since 2019, all the fans have been so excited for these re-releases. And basically, you're thinking like, okay, she doesn't own the music. Like, what does that really mean? Basically, if you listen to Taylor Swift's old music, anything before Lover, if you're listening to Fearless on Spotify, don't quote me on this, but when you listen to songs, the artists receive money or, you know, some kind of compensation due to listens. So when you listen to her old albums, she does not get any of the profit. It is all going to Scooter and the people who have purchased her music since then. So basically, all of the fans have decided to stop listening to her old albums online. Now, I have all of her albums on CDs, and I have like an old iPod that's like, I don't even know how old that iPod is, but I have all of her other music in other means to listen to. So if I want to listen to like Fearless or whatever, I can just like put it on my other computer and stuff because I have that music. But if you're somebody who doesn't own any of the music, or you're like on Spotify and you're like, man, I just really want to listen to like Blank Space right now, it's my jam. If you listen to it, she doesn't get the money, and it's really bad. So she decided that she was just going to re-record her music because that was all shit she could do. So in November of 2020, she was allowed to start re-recording, and she did some teasers and everything. And on February 11th, like I said, she announced that Love Story was going to be released, and it came out, and it's absolutely amazing. I'll talk about it in a minute. But she also announced that the Fearless album is the first re-recorded album that is finished, and that it's going to be coming out soon. And by soon, she meant April 9th. And we actually found out the date because in the description of these posts that she made, she capitalized different letters. And if you know Taylor Swift, you know that she used to always do this in her old albums. She would capitalize different letters within the song lyrics, and that would give like a secret message. So the secret message of this post was April 9th. So that is when Fearless is going to be re-released. And I am so beyond excited, and I really wanted to talk about this in my podcast, but my last episode was all about my skink, and I already had that planned. So I was like, okay, we'll just talk about Taylor Swift this time. And I'm even wearing my Taylor Swift sweater to get me in the mood more for this episode. But yeah, so her Fearless album re-release is coming out April 9th, and I'm so excited. And listening to the re-recording of Love Story just brought back so many memories that I had, and it was just so nostalgic in a way. And the lyric video that she posted on her YouTube channel features pictures of her and fans and her from the era of Fearless. So it's kind of like the love story is now of her and the fans. And it's just so sweet. So if you haven't seen the lyric video for the updated Love Story song, I highly recommend that you check it out. It is absolutely beautiful and really cute. And it's just really nostalgic. So I was talking to my sister, and I sent the video to my sister and my mom, and I was like, oh my God, her new album. Oh. So I was telling them all about it, and we were just talking about how nostalgic it was and how, you know, much fun we had listening to this album, because when Fearless came out, I was in high school. I was a freshman in high school when Fearless came out. Before that came out, I found her music when I was like in 8th grade. I think that's when I discovered her, 7th or 8th grade. And I really liked her music, and I never really listened to country that much, but I just really liked her music. And so my sister and I became kind of obsessed with her, as a lot of people did back in the day. And I remember she was touring with Rascal Flatts, and me and my sister and my childhood best friend, who's obsessed with Taylor Swift too, we like begged our parents. We're like, please take us to this Rascal Flatts concert. She's opening, like, come on. So my childhood best friend and her mom came with us, and then my mom, my sister, and my dad all came with us to the Rascal Flatts concert, literally so we could just see Taylor Swift, and we were so excited. And Rascal Flatts is really good. Like, no shade on Rascal Flatts. Like, I absolutely love them too. But like, we were there for Taylor. And it was so much fun. And then when she announced the Fearless tour, I was like, Mom, please take me to see her. So I went with my mom, my sister, my childhood best friend, and a couple of other people. And then as the years went by, I went to all of her concerts, and it kind of evolved from me going with my mom, my sister, my friends, to me just going with my mom. So from Red Tour, 1989 tour, and Reputation tour, I just went with my mom. And I remember my mom, this was back when, you know, tickets were like impossible to get, and like you literally had to go to scalpers to like get tickets. And so my mom would spend like all this money, but like it was just something that we always did. And like my mom is always like saying, you know, money is just money. You can't take it with you. You got to do things in life that you love. And if you got to drop, you know, a bunch of money, obviously, like if you're struggling to find food and you're really struggling, like, you know, you need to take care of yourself. But like, if you have the money, use it on something that you love. And music is such a passion of mine. And Taylor Swift, like, you know, she's like one of the reasons why I wanted to learn how to play guitar and sing. And so it was just something that was really important to me. So my mom would always take me to go see her concerts. So when the Reputation tour rolled around, Ticketmaster pretty much released this new like ticketing system where you had to get a special code to go in to buy tickets, and you could only buy a certain amount. And basically Ticketmaster has like redone all of this so that it eliminates scalpers from buying a million tickets and then you having to go to third-party sites and whatnot. So I did everything possible to get a good date to buy the Reputation tickets because I wanted to get them like right away. I wanted to get a really good spot, and I actually ended up paying for me and my mom's tickets to go see Reputation. So that was like my thank you to my mom for, you know, always supporting me and always like buying all of these tickets for us. And I was able to treat her to the Reputation tour. So that was like so fun. So that was just a little walk down my history of Taylor with concerts and everything. But back to Fearless, the new album. I know I went on like a whole rant there. She also announced that the album is going to have 6 new songs. So the re-release of Fearless is not just going to include the songs that were on Fearless, also Fearless Platinum, because she released a Fearless Platinum edition, which had a couple of extra songs. But she's going to have 6 new songs. Well, not new for her, but they're new for us. And there's 6 songs that didn't make it on the original album. So not only are we getting like this re-release of her album and we get to hear her like, you know, current vocal style and, you know, just this amazing just thing that we get like kind of a new album, but then we're also getting new songs, so it's kind of like we're getting a new album. But this has me and a lot of other fans speculating that all of her re-released albums are going to include songs that didn't make the cut, or, you know, different versions of songs and things like that. So I am like even more excited than I was before about these re-releases, because it's kind of like we're getting like 5 new Taylor albums, you know, and I'm so excited. Although I will say that I do love the original albums and I do have them on. I'm still going to listen to them, like not on Spotify or anything like that. Like we can't do that. But I'm still going to listen to them like on my iPod or whatever. But I am so excited about these new re-releases and, you know, just getting to be nostalgic all over again. But I was a freshman in high school when that came out. And I think it was 2008 or 2009 when that came out. So I've been like obsessed with Taylor for so long, but it's just so exciting that we get this new album from her and that we get, you know, new songs. And the Love Story version was so good. I mean, it sounds very similar to the original, but it's just matured a little bit. So I'm excited to hear, you know, how her voice is on some of these other songs. And, you know, some of the songs on Fearless, like I haven't heard her sing them live like since the tour. And then some of the songs, like I don't know if she's ever sung some of these songs live. So I'm just really excited. And she said it was a very emotional experience for her being able to re-record everything. And I can't imagine the amount of work this is taking her. And I believe her when she says it's so emotional because, you know, writing a song when you're 16, 15 years old and feeling certain emotions and being able to record them at the time is different when you're grown up. And maybe some of these songs, like, she doesn't really relate to anymore. And this is just me speculating. She hasn't said any of this, but some of these songs about like these really horrible breakups and just this pain and this heartbreak, because that's really what that whole album was about. Fearless was about, a lot of relationship songs. And I know a lot of people don't like Taylor Swift. You're like, oh, she only writes breakup songs and she only sings about boys. Like, first of all, no, that's not true. She sings about a lot of different things, and y'all need to be quiet. All of her albums came out in a time in her life where she was in a different state in her life, and Fearless was about relationships, and there was a lot of breakup songs, and there's just a lot of emotion going on in that album. And I can imagine it is really emotional for her to go back and be singing some of these songs. And Love Story was her first international hit, and that was one of the reasons why she ended up becoming like so popular. I mean, she was getting popular before them, but that was her first international hit. That was when she got like really, really big, was Fearless, and she won her first Grammys with Fearless. Fearless won Album of the Year. I believe her first Grammy that she ever won was for songwriting for White Horse, which my sister and I were talking about. My sister thinks White Horse is like, okay. I mean, I think it's beautifully written. I think all of the songs on Fearless are I think all of her songs are beautifully written, obviously. But yeah, White Horse was the first Grammy she won. She won Album of the Year. I think that album won a handful of Grammys, actually. And it's just, I can really sympathize with her that it's probably really emotional for her. Also, speaking of Grammys, all of her re-recorded albums are eligible for Grammys. So theoretically, she could win Album of the Year for Fearless and 1989 twice. And she could win Album of the Year for like all of her albums. Like, can you imagine like if she won Album of the Year for like, if they're all released in the same year, I guess they all can't win Album of the Year, but like imagine Fearless winning Album of the Year like 2 times. Like, I don't know if that's ever happened before. That's like insane. I was thinking about that too. And also, like, she didn't get nominated for that many songs on Reputation. I think a couple of them got nominated, but in like the major categories, like Reputation was pretty much snubbed. And just imagine what like a power move that would be if Reputation like won a bunch of Grammys. I think that would be amazing. Also, Red was nominated for Album of the Year, and it didn't win. And that's kind of the reason why she went to pop, was because Red was not sonically cohesive. And if you don't know what that means, it basically means that the songs didn't all sound the same. And not the same, but they didn't all have the same kind of vibe. If you listen to Fearless, for example, like that's all country music. And all the songs like flow together really nicely. But Red has a lot of country, but then it had some pop songs, and then it had some like kind of indie songs, and cohesively it was not very like, didn't really go together. I mean, I absolutely love Red. I'm still pissed that it didn't win Album of the Year. But she's right, it wasn't sonically cohesive, so that's the reason why she ended up going pop, full pop, because she like wanted to do some pop, but then she had to put some country on it, and then she was like, what, screw it, I'm just gonna go completely pop. But so not winning Album of the Year for Red, inspired her to do all that. And I think, everything happens for a reason. In 1989, she won the Grammy Album of the Year and everything. So everything works out for her. But, I think it would be like such a power move that if she won Album of the Year for Red, or she won a bunch of Grammys for New Reputation, and I don't know, it's crazy. And I was wondering this too, but on Fearless and a few of her other albums, she does have collaborations. And on Fearless, the song Breathe was a collaboration with Colby Calais, and it still is a collaboration with Colby Calais. And I don't know why I thought that she wouldn't do them as collabs. Like, I don't know why I thought that, but she is doing all of the collabs, which I'm so excited about. So that's fun, and it was probably really fun for Colby Calais to re-record that song too. So, I'm so excited for all of this. It's such a shame that she doesn't own her original songs, but I think everything happens for a reason. I said that, and I think this whole situation with her is allowing her to not only re-record the songs, but also share old songs with her fans that she didn't have a chance to share. And I think it's kind of like a blessing in disguise, because she's getting to share these unheard of songs with everyone, and we can all, experience those songs. And, I'll think about when I'm listening to them that she didn't write these now. She wrote these back in the day. and they're literally from her vault. That's what she's calling them. And I'm so excited to hear them. I'm just even more excited now that there's like actual new songs. Like I was excited, because we get to actually listen to the album, and it's like kind of new music from her, but this is actually new music, and we're getting to hear these unheard songs, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited for this. So I talked about some of my favorite memories, going to those concerts with my mom, paying for the Reputation tickets for her. And it's just seeing her live is so incredible. And I was really upset when I don't want to say really upset, but I was disappointed when her Lover Fest tour, which she's completely canceled. She's not going to be touring at all for Lover, which is really sad. But her Loverfest was supposed to be like, she had Loverfest East and West, and it was going to be in Los Angeles and somewhere in like Massachusetts. And those are the only places she was going to tour in the US. And I was really disappointed by that. And I like talked to my mom, and we were like, we could maybe go and stay up in Massachusetts. And it was not going to work out. So I was really upset that I wasn't going to be able to see the Loverfest tour. But then she canceled it for everybody, so nobody gets to see it. So I guess it all worked out. But yeah, unfortunately, she's not going to be touring for Lover at all, and she's definitely not going to be touring for Evermore or Folklore. So I wonder if, once things are safe again, like if she'll do some sort of greatest hits tour or something. I don't know. Whatever the next concert she does and I can go see it, I'm going. My mom and I will be going. But I don't know, is that like mean of me to be happy that she canceled it so that like if I can't see it, nobody can? Like, I hate being like that. Like, that's so mean of me to say. And I'm not like that at all. Because, like, she did a concert in Paris for Lover. It wasn't, like, a whole tour. It was just, like, a one-off concert she did. And I was really upset that Taylor Nation didn't invite me. But, like, whatever, I got over it. But they they posted it on Disney Plus. So I was like, okay, so I got to see the concert. I know that's really mean of me to say, like, if I can't see Loverfest, nobody can, but literally nobody can because it's not happening. It's literally dead. So the old Loverfest can't come to the phone right now. Why not? Because she's dead. I'm going off on a rant right now. Anyway, I just wanted to share some of my favorite memories and talk a little bit more about her re-recordings, because this is something that I've been meaning to talk about for a while, and now it's kind of the perfect timing because Fearless is getting re-released, and I'm so excited, and that'll be like an early birthday present for me because my birthday's in April, and I'm really excited. So I'll probably I don't know if I'll do a whole episode on the new songs, but I'll definitely talk about them in an upcoming episode. And yeah, I'm so excited. I think I've said that a million times. So if you want to re-listen to this episode and take a shot every time I say I'm so excited, actually don't do that. Don't do that. You'll probably be dead. So don't do that. That's everything I wanted to talk about in this episode. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about why Taylor Swift is re-recording her albums, if you didn't know that already. If you did know that, I hope you enjoyed hearing about some of my favorite memories. I just want to say to all of my friends and my family who listen to the show that have experienced Taylor Swift with me or have been just a part of my Taylor Swift journey, I just want to say thank you. I don't think Taylor or anybody from her team are ever going to listen to this, but if you are listening, just want to know I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, and yeah, I've seen all of her tours, and I've never actually met Taylor. I'm a huge fan, and I think one day I'll meet her. I definitely will. Whenever the time is right, I will meet Taylor, and I'll try not to cry. I feel like I would, if I met her, like, I feel like I would start crying, and I feel like that's, like, really weird, because, like, I'm meeting literally my favorite person in the whole world. Well, my mom's my favorite person in the whole world, but you know what I mean, like, my favorite celebrity, and I feel like crying in front of her would be, like, really embarrassing, but I probably would, because every time she comes out on tour, like, the first song, and, like, when I see her with my own eyes for the first time, like, in the tour, I start crying. So if I actually met her in real life, I don't know what would happen, but I would like to think that I would be calm. Like, I've met celebrities before, not to like flex, but like I've met celebrities before and I didn't cry, but they weren't Taylor Swift, you know what I mean? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope everyone who's listening is doing all right. Just because it's 2021 doesn't mean the pandemic isn't still happening, doesn't mean that, things are better. But I hope that everybody's doing well. A couple people in my family have already gotten their vaccines. A couple people I know have gotten their vaccines, and this year is definitely looking up, but it's not there yet. We're not 100% better as a nation and as a world. It's getting better. So I just want to let you know that if you are struggling, if you're, feeling bad, if anything in your life is, really going down, just know that it gets better and that I'm sending you lots of love. So that's it for this episode. As always, stay safe, stay classy, and I will chat again with you soon. Goodbye.